Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Crystal and this is my social thread. So today is my August sewing make. So it's a roundup of all my makes in the month of August, and I have made a total number of 15 items. So August was a very productive month for me. I know with most of my sewing friends and most of the sewing communities that are mummies, they tend to do less during the summer holidays because their children are on holiday. With me it's kind of almost the opposite way round. I home educate my children, so during the school term I actually have less time to sew, whilst during the holiday time I do have time to sew when we haven't got a day planned out, or we haven't got any activities or visitors coming over, and so I have a lot of free time during the summer holidays. So it's kind of the reverse for me compared to other sort of working mums out there. So yeah, there you go. Let's start with what I'm wearing. So what I'm wearing is the Tilly and the Buttons Indigo dress, and this is actually one of my makes for August. Just to say, for those of you that do follow me, most of this is going to be repetitive apart from this dress and two other dresses which you've not seen before, and that's because obviously I do Friday sews and regular updates during my Friday sews, so most of these items you would have seen before. For those of you that only watch, I do have quite a few viewers that only watch my roundup, so for you this is a nice bumper episode for you to see everything that I have made for the month of August. So as I said, this is the Tilly and the Buttons Indigo dress. I've made it in a sage green and white cotton gingham from Minerva Crafts. So this is the let me just stand up for you. This is the indigo dress, as I say. I have bought the expansion pack, which includes the puff sleeves and also a frill at the bottom of the dress. I have also added ties myself because I quite like the cinched in look. Otherwise it's quite loose. Let me show you. So this is how it is on me now. If I take off the ties, it's quite like a loose smock dress, which isn't so bad. I mean, I would wear it loose as well. Perhaps, although I do prefer it with the ties. And I am loving this dress. I will post a photo of me wearing it. And this is my second Tilly and the Buttons Indigo dress because I love my first one so much. My first one is this one over here, which I'll talk about later on. So the pattern is the Tilly and the Buttons Indigo, as I've said. And it's actually a smock top or dress, and this is the lovely Romana from the Great British Sewing Bee modelling that. And at the back you've got Paige Joanna modelling the other version. So when I first saw this pattern, I think this is a couple of years ago now this pattern was released, I didn't like it at all. I mean, I just don't think that looks very flattering. I mean, on her, I don't think it looks very flattering. On me, I knew it wouldn't look flattering because of this smock style loose fit. And I just wasn't keen on it at all. Even, as I say, Paige Joanna's version here still didn't get me, you know, wanting to buy the pattern. And the only reason I bought the pattern was probably a year or so later, where I was looking through Instagram and loads of these sewing indigo. If you follow the sewing indigo hashtag, you'll see loads and loads of people that have made the indigo pattern into a dress, and they've added waist ties, and it just looks so gorgeous. I think the addition of the waist ties just makes it so beautiful, because for me, where I'm not super skinny, I think that looser fitting items makes me look bigger than I am, and so I quite like the ties to cinch in my waist, whatever waist I do have, to make that part of my body look smaller than the rest of my body, hence sort of giving you a bit of a sort of feminine shape. And that's what I prefer on my body personally. And as I was seeing all these lovely indigo dresses coming on my Instagram feed, I just thought I have to buy that pattern, especially because it's a Tilly and the Buttons pattern. I know that the instructions would be amazing. I know that the fit is really good on me otherwise, and so I went ahead and bought that pattern. So this is a confident beginner sewing pattern. It goes from their, oh, I don't believe this isn't in their extended size range yet. So I think now they have introduced the extended size range, but I will double check. I believe they do. So this one only goes from a size 1 to a size 10, which is a UK size 6 to a UK 24. I do know that all of Tilly's new patterns that are being released go all the way up to a size 34, I believe. Let me just double check. Yes, they go up to a UK size 34, and then all of her older patterns, they are slowly extending that range as well, which is lovely. So a UK size 6 is a bust of 76 of 30 inches, waist of 24 inches. Hip is, it doesn't really matter because it's such a flowy skirt, all the way up to a size 24, which is a 48-inch bust and a 42-inch waist. I did according to my measurements, bear with me. Sorry, so many things. Okay, so I did the size 5, which is a bust of 38 inches, which is exactly my bust measurement, and a waist of 32 inches. My waist is slightly bigger than that, but in terms of the finished garments for a size 5, it's a bust of 40.5 inches, which I think is actually, now I'm looking at that, 2.5 inches of ease, because I've always, when I look at other patterns and I go by the body measurements and then the finished garment measurements, sometimes I look at the amount of ease in the bust and I'm thinking, gosh, 2 inches or 3 inches, that's a lot of ease. But now I'll make a point of making a note of that in this pattern, it's 2.5 inches of ease at the bust for a woven pattern, and I think it fits me quite nicely. What I have done, I mean, I'll show you. I think it fits quite nicely, although sometimes I can see a bit of a stretch. You know, when you get the lines here, which basically means it's just a bit too tight on the bust. So I think I will still stick with the 5s for this pattern, but maybe for the bodice alone, I will go in by, instead of the 5/8 seam allowance, I will do the 3/8 seam allowance. And I think that would work quite nicely for me. But I'm glad I found that. I just found that now. So 2.5 inches for me personally is a great ease measurement for a woven fabric, woven pattern. So I'm happy with that. And the it doesn't have a finished waist measurement because I suppose it's quite loose, so you can kind of tie it in or leave it loose as you please. And that's that. So again, Tilly in the buttons. I want to show you the line drawings actually. So basically, it's a smock top. It's a bodice, round neck. It's got a facing all the way around, no fastening, so no buttons or zips or anything. It's got some side bust darts here. It's got a slightly curved bottom of the bodice, which actually, when I was cutting it out, I thought, why didn't I just straighten this off? Because I don't see the point of it. Actually, for me, that makes, I don't know if you can see it on this dress. I've untied the tie now. Wow, you can't really see it on this dress so much. Oh, there you go. It kind of goes up a little bit, which actually I think makes it quite feminine, a bit more feminine than normal. So I will keep that on the pattern piece. I won't cut it straight. And then you have different options for the sleeves. You have this bracelet sleeve, and then you have like a 3/4 sleeve with a flounce. That's the sleeve options. And then for the bottom part of the blouse, it's just basically a gathered skirt. I didn't realize that the bottom of the blouse version is lower than the top, than the front, and then the skirt version is just as so. I've also bought the extension pack or the expansion pack that comes with this, although I don't have it to hand. But basically what you get with the extension pack is you get different variety of sleeves. So you get a normal short sleeve, which is basically like just this sleeve but just cut short. Then you get the puff sleeves, which I'm wearing at the moment, and then you get another sleeve. I'm not sure what the other sleeve is. I think, oh no, you get a long sleeve with an elasticated cuff, so a bit almost like bishop sleeve, although not that puffy, with an elasticated cuff. And then you get a bottom tier as well, to make it like a maxi dress, and then you get like a ruffle to go at the waist if you wanted to add that. So that's the expansion pack, which I've got. So for this dress, the parts that I used from the extension pack is the ruffle at the bottom of the dress and also the puff sleeves. And that's that. What shall I say with this? Okay, so So with the ties, which I made myself, all I did was a strip of fabric, 1 meter, 1.5 inches width, and the length of the each strap is, each side tie is 36 inches. Don't know how I reached that figure, but I think I have used it in another pattern. I believe it was my Sicily wrap dress maybe, and I've made a note of that in my notes. And when I make the ties, because I now have this special tool, bear with me, I have shown this to you before if you follow my Friday sews. So it's the Prim turning kit. And because I have this now, making ties and things is just super easy, so I really don't mind making them. As I say, the ties don't come included in the pattern, so I've just made them myself. And basically you get these 3 sort of tubes and turning sticks. So the tube is like this, and then you get like a stick to go in. And basically, I can't really show you at the moment, I don't have anything to show you, but you get your strip of fabric, you sew it right sides together, sew it across, and then you feed the tube through your strip of fabric, and then you put this at the other end and you poke it through, and slowly but surely your waist tie will come out the right way round, and then you can use the tip of this to pull out the corners of your waist ties. So it's very handy, and it comes in 3 different thicknesses. It's by Prim, and I think it was about £5 or £6, so definitely worth it. It just makes your life easier when making ties. And like little skinny straps, it works really well for that. Even now when I know there is another way of making ties, sort of the bias binding way, I find this is much easier because of this, and so this is now my preferred way of making ties, not the bias binding way. What else am I going to say? Yes, so my second version, or this is actually my second version, sorry, tell a lie, I've already made another one as well. In my previous makes, I have made a straight indigo with the straight short sleeves in a rust polka dot from Rainbow Fabrics Kilburn. I'll try and pop up a photo there, although that isn't part of my August makes, but anyway. So this is my third version. This is my second version. And it's in a beautiful gingham, but it almost has like a seersucker kind of effect on the fabric, and it's actually in a pink and lilac. Don't know if you're seeing that well, that color. And this is by Pigeon Wishes, and I bought it from Marie of the Fabric Revival. And again, this is the standard bodice. You've got the bust darts there. I have used the extension pack for the bottom frill, which is down there, and I put waist ties in again. The other thing that I added to this one is the sleeves. So I added the Stylark bell sleeves for mine, and basically it's just a lovely poofy sleeve that comes sort of up to this part of my arm, and I just really love it, and I think it just makes the dress look really sort of romantic and feminine and floaty. And with the gingham, I used the pattern sort of at a diagonal for the bodice and for the frill at the bottom, and then everywhere else I used it as a straight square, if that makes sense. And I really love this. I've also added a label there on the facing. I love how the facing comes together really nicely, fits perfectly and sits lovely and flat. I think simple things like that, where everything sits nice and flat and everything fits pattern wise, when you've cut out things and it fits together really nicely, I think that's really satisfying, and it's really confidence boosting as well. So Tilly and the Buttons, for me now, I know that her patterns are very well drafted and the instructions are very good as well. Let me pop up a photo of me wearing this one. So I love how it just looks so feminine and lovely, a bit sort of country kind of no, I wouldn't say Danish. Anyway, I really like it. So that's that version there. Yep, and I love this dress so much. I have actually cut out another four. So this dress, actually, my daughter and I are pretty much the same size, except for the waist. So the reason the ties are there, so then it can kind of, we can both wear it. I can wear it, and also my daughter can wear it. So that it's like two birds with one stone. And then the other 4 that I have made, I won't show you all of them now. Well, I haven't actually made them, but I've got the fabric to show you that I've already cut out for the indigos. So my first one is, this is just remnant fabric. Beautiful Liberty Poppy and Daisy fabric. I mean, look at those colors. It's a cotton lawn. It's absolutely gorgeous. If you go onto the Liberty website and you're a new customer, you get 15% off. And they also do next day delivery if you wanted it that badly. So there you go. And this dress basically takes, how much does it take? At 140 centimeters width, it takes 3 meters. At 115 width, which is most designer fabric as in Rifle Paper Company, Liberty cotton. The quilting cotton is quite narrow. What else is quite narrow? That's all I can think of at the moment. So at 115 width, you need 3.5 meters. But this, the Liberty Cotton Lawn, actually is 140 width, which I didn't know. So for the cotton lawn, Liberty does it at 140 width. And for their quilting cottons, it's 115. So that's, I've cut out another Tilly and the Buttons Indigo. Exactly the same style as this one with the bell, Stylark bell sleeves. I've also cut out, I'll show you my project bags. I've also cut out another one, exactly the same. Again, in the Liberty, let me just cut this. This is a Liberty quilting cotton, 115 width. I believe this is called, I'm not sure actually, it's part of their flower show stopper collection, I think. And I got this from Mimi and B Fabrics. They kindly gifted me a voucher to say thank you for interviewing them on my channel, and really it wasn't necessary because I should be thanking them, but there you go. So that's my other one that I've cut out, exactly the same style as that one. The third one I've cut out, I have used my Lady McElroy Midnight Rosette. For those of you that follow me, you will know that I love this print. So it's this one here. Oh, it looks a bit dusty there. So this is in their linen chambray base. And I also have this fabric actually in the scuba, but that's that one. Again, exactly the same style with the Stylark bell sleeves. And then the last one that I've cut out is in a beautiful Rifle Paper Company fabric, cotton lawn, and it's their hydrangea print. How beautiful is that? So it's like a light pink background with white hydrangeas, and this is, I got this from Lush Cloth during their summer sale. And this version is exactly the same bar the sleeves. The sleeves for this one, I've chosen the puffy sleeves because this one is basically for my daughter, and the long Stylark bell sleeves, she doesn't like those and they look too big on her. So she loves the short sleeve version. So they're the ones that I've cut out for that. Sorry, I know that's not like an August make, but I just thought I'd mention that. The next thing I made was the, oh, there you go. What is this called? It's called the Coco Wawa honeycomb dress. Sorry, the buttons aren't done here. In a chambray. Sorry, this is a stretch denim that was in my stash, and this dress isn't really a success because the fabric I chose doesn't really go with the pattern, if that makes sense. So I was really desperate to make this pattern, and I wanted a chambray version. This is for my daughter, my eldest daughter, who's 15, and she really wanted a chambray version, and I was so desperate to make it. All I had in my stash was a stretch denim, and I thought it looks similar enough, it should be fine, but I find the fabric is just too heavy for it. And it's a shame. And also the buttons that I've used are quite big for the, I mean, if you see, the button stand is quite skinny and the button is actually bigger than or wider than the button band. But anyway, this is the honeycomb honeycomb dress by Coco Wawa, and all it is a round neck button up dress. It's got princess seams at the front, waist darts at the back. It's got a lovely yoke at the back. It's got normal sleeves, but it also has the option for long sleeves with elasticated cuff and a little tie at the bottom. And the reason I bought this dress is because I love the detail that they have at the bottom here. So if I show you, it's a gathered skirt at the bottom, but there is a tie that is sandwiched between the princess seam at the front and the side seam. And so when you tie it at the front, you get a lovely bit of detail there, slightly something different. You have like a tie at the front there. Now originally when I bought the pattern, I thought that the tie would be at the front and also at the back seams, so you'll get more of a side tie, but it turns out it's at the side seam where you get more of a front tie, which is okay. But I'm thinking maybe when my daughter was wearing it, there was such a lot of fabric here that it looked a bit bulky, so either I will have to go down a size, or I might insert this this tie here instead of the side seam. I might insert it at the back in the back dart, waist dart, and see how that works, and then you'll have a more balanced sort of gathering of fabric at the side. But I will pop up a photo of my daughter wearing it, and I will also show you the pattern because that's very important. So the pattern is I've lost the front cover, so basically that's the pattern. As you can see, it's a princess seam button down. This is the short sleeve version which I made. Also got the long sleeve version with a little tie here, and as you can see, this is the waist ties here. You can have it as a blouse with like a peplum bit or a skirt. It also actually comes with like a collar, like a mandarin collar, but I didn't like the way it looked on some of the photos on Instagram. It looked kind of, it just didn't really sit well. So what I decided to do was just create my own bias binding and put that on. And again, it's not really nicely done either. You can see the puckers here, but there you go. Everything that I make, I learn a lesson from, and this is a lesson learnt. So I don't think, maybe sort of for autumn winter my daughter will wear it, because it is quite chunky and quite bulky and quite warm because it's in a stretch fabric, stretch denim. But there you go. So that's that one. I will just continue with the sort of the review, as it were, of this pattern. So this pattern goes from a size 1 to a size 10, which is UK 6, bust of 31 inches, waist of 23 inches, to a UK 24, bust of 48 inches, to a waist of 41 inches. And what have my notes said in here? Let me have a look. Bear with me. What is it called? Oh, Coco Wawa. Oh no, there you go. So as I said, I omitted the mandarin collar and just made a bias strip. So I've made a note of the measurements on there. Oh, and I also used the Tilly and the Buttons Lyra pocket because I know from the Indigo dress and from the Lyra dress, I've not actually put the two pockets together, but I believe that the Lyra dress pocket and the Indigo dress pocket are the same. And in Tilly's, I love exactly where the pocket placement is put. It's perfectly sort of, it's the right height or the right depth for my hands. And I also like how Tilly and the Buttons has instructions to, is it understitch or top stitch? Understitch the seam allowance, or understitch the pocket to the seam allowance, so then you don't get the lining sticking out in your dress. And for this dress, they didn't have any understitching, so I added that. And that was it really. Instructions were fairly straightforward. Nothing really to that was anything difficult. Oh, and for the yoke, it does use the burrito method, which they have explained quite nicely actually. All the instructions are as such, so that was very very easy to follow. But next time I will try a chambray or maybe a cotton lawn or something, and I think that would work quite nicely. So that's the Coco Wawa honeycomb dress. The next thing I made was the, oh, quite a lot of these. So the next thing I made was a Sicily wrap dress. No, the Sicily slip dress. And I made it in collaboration with Judy of Running So and So. I will pop up a photo of Judy's versions. And I met Judy via the Jenny Stitches blogging team. We both blog for Jenny Stitches, and we have been talking on Instagram, that sort of thing. And she said, why don't we do a collaboration? Or maybe I said, why don't we do a collaboration? And we ended up choosing the Sicily slip dress, and I'll show you my versions. So I've got quite a few. Okay, so the first version I made, which was my collaboration with Judy, I'll just put it on a hanger properly for you. I made mine in, it's this dress here. and this is made up in a, what is this called, a leopard print from Rainbow Fabrics Kilburn. It's a viscose, and it was quite nice because I was looking for a leopard print viscose, and it was surprisingly quite hard to find despite leopard print being quite fashionable. And I quite like this one because it's got a white background or a creamy background, when most leopard prints are either in a black or like a brownie background. So I think this is more summery. And I bought quite a few bits of this, quite a few meters of this. So the Sicily Sicily slip dress takes 2 meters. And I think I bought 6 meters because I need 4 meters for a wilder gown, which I'm going to make in the same fabric. So anyway, Sicily slip dress, it's sort of like a cowl front. I'll show you from the side. It's a cowl front there. It's got lovely skinny straps, which again, I used my prim turners in that. And I mean, look how tiny those straps are. It was a breeze using it, making these. It's got a facing and a back facing and a front facing. And it's basically cut in the bias, which is the most important thing. It's cut in the bias, and so it just hugs your body perfectly, and it's just so lovely to wear. And I've added ties. Do you get... No, so the ties I just added myself, I think. Yeah, you don't get the ties in the pattern, so I added these myself. And I made them extra long so I could tie it at the front and at the back. And I'll pop up a photo of me wearing it. And I loved it so much that I made more. You know when you just love a pattern so much and you've got all the pattern pieces out already, it's fresh, the instructions are fresh in your mind, and I just went ahead and I cut another one out and did it again straight away. So that's my first version there. My second version, oh, they're not going to be in order now, but the other versions I made are this version. This is a rust polka dot from Rainbow Fabrics Kilburn. Is a viscose. This is actually the same fabric that I was talking about that I used for my first ever Indigo, Tilly and the Buttons Indigo dress. Again, you've got the cowl there, and I'll pop up a picture of me wearing it. And then the other one I made, number 3, was this version here. So another one. This is a viscose sort of palm print from Stitch and Ink Fabrics, all the same versions, all with the waist ties. Oh, and by the way, with all of these, instead of hemming the bottom, I just used my, what's it called, my 3-thread overlock stitch, I think, 3-thread narrow stitch on my overlocker. So it's sort of like a narrow thing there, which I think works really, really well for drapey fabrics. And I believe it's, well, it's much easier because you don't have to overlock the edges, then measure the seam allowance and then sew it down again. So with the overlocker sort of edging, it's just, you just put it through the overlocker. Obviously you have to change the settings in your overlocker, but it's a really nice way to finish sort of these kind of dresses. I'll pop up a photo. And then the last one I made was this one here. Although unfortunately this one doesn't work. So all of those dresses have been viscoses, and I thought, I've got this lovely fabric which I've always wanted to use as a dress, and I chose the Lady McElroy Hydrangea in their cotton lawn. Unfortunately, because it is a cotton lawn, it is quite stiff. Not stiff like a quilting cotton, but for this particular dress with the cowl, you definitely need the drape. So you definitely need something like a viscose or a silk or a satin or something with definite drape. So the problem with this is this cowl bit here, it kind of sticks out when you're wearing it. So I'll show you from the side view. From the side view, it kind of sticks out like that. And then when I try to flatten it, if I'm wearing it and I'm looking down, this kind of looks like a bib. So it doesn't really work at all in a cotton lawn. So beware for those of you that are wanting to try it in a cotton lawn. I know they don't suggest a cotton lawn for it, but I thought I'd try it anyway. It doesn't work. But no sort of hard feelings, is that the term? Because I can easily cut this up and use it for something else, and I already have plans for this. I am going to cut it out and use it as a lining for my Friday Pattern Company Heather blazer, which I am going to be doing this month, and you can see more of that on my September Makes vlog, which I still have to record, but it will be uploaded hopefully this week or next week. So that's that one. That was a fail. I will pop up a photo of me wearing it. It doesn't look too bad on the photos, and also I find with a cotton lawn, because it is quite crisp, you can see that the bust, sort of my bust is struggling under that bodice area. It's just not a good fit in this cotton lawn. And the instructions, let me have a look. Okay, so this is the pattern. It's the Sicily slip dress by Mason. I bought the PDF pattern, and what it is, it's a slip dress. On the bias, it's got the lovely cowl here, skinny straps, and the second version is you don't get the skinny straps, you just kind of get like a tank, sort of thicker straps, but the cowl is still there and you can just change the length as you please. The instructions are very good actually, because it is a dress cut on the bias. It tells you a lot about dresses cut on a bias. So it tells you that, right, it shows you how to find the bias, which is great. So for this, for example, here, you've got the selvage of the fabric on either side. That's where it comes off the roll. And then you get the cut ends of your fabric. And then you get the grain this way and the grain that way, and your bias is exactly 45 degrees or a diagonal to that selvage. So that's a good way, that's a great tip to find out how to get the true bias of your fabric. And then with the layout pattern, it shows you this. So with with bias cut garments, you have to cut the front piece or the back piece, basically one side of it, sort of at this bias at this diagonal, and then the other half in the opposite diagonal. Otherwise, if you were to cut it both on the same diagonal, I think it would kind of be leaning to one side. Whilst as if the front side is cut this way and the back side is cut this way, it just has a lovely balance when it rests on your body, and it just makes it flow beautifully. So that's that. Also with bias cut garments, you can't cut things on the fold. It says they can't cut it on the fold. It has to be opened up that way. So I was thinking actually, because it is a slip dress, like you would think you would get away with making it like in a meter or a meter and a half of fabric. Similar to the saltwater slip by, is it the Friday Pattern Company, I'm going to say? By the Friday Pattern Company? Yes. So I think you can get that, a shorter version in a meter of fabric, but because this is cut as such, like it's not on the fold and it has to be at a particular angle, you really do need 2 meters for this. So that's that. Instructions were very, very good. Oh, with regards to the seams on the inside, it shows you how to do French seams, which I unfortunately did not follow. I just did a regular seam because I just wanted to finish the dress and wear it already. So I didn't mind using just a normal seam. And I really, really like it. As you can tell, I've made 4. And that's it really. Oh, with regards to the ties, I've just made a note of where I add mine. So mine's 7 inches down from the top of the sort of the arm area, and I've just counted 7 inches down, and that's where I put my ties. And as I say, the ties are long enough to go the back and then the front, and tie at the front, or vice versa. So I'm very happy with that. And just to say, I've also styled it with just a plain white Tabitha t-shirt, which I shall show you. It's just a plain white Tabitha t-shirt which I've made. Lovely logo there, not logo, name tag, what is it called? Label. There you go. Top stitch, beautiful, simple, staple garment, white t-shirt. Fabric is a white cotton jersey from Pound Fabrics with the matching white ribbing. And I might as well show you that whilst I'm here. I was just checking. Can you imagine if after all this talking I hadn't even recorded you properly? But I am recording, and it's now at 33 minutes. So anyway, the Tabitha t-shirt the Tabitha t-shirt is from the Make It Simple book by Tilly and the Buttons, and it's this Tabitha t-shirt here, and the pattern is as such. So you get short sleeves, 3/4 length sleeves, and long sleeves, and this goes from a size UK 6 bust of 30 inches, waist of 24 inches, all the way to a UK 24, bust of 48 inches, waist of 42 inches. And what I love about this t-shirt, as it says in the description, it's not too fitted, it's not too loose, it's a perfectly semi-fitted t-shirt, which I love. So that's that there, and that goes on nicely to my next make. I made the what's it called? So I am a brand ambassador for Little Miss So-and-so, and every month I get one of their all set to sew kits, and it comes in two sort of levels. You get the Sew Special kit, which is £40 or £45 a month, and then the Sew Luxurious kit, which is £65 a month. I go for the Sew Luxurious kit, and that's kindly gifted to me by Helen, which is amazing. And for this month, or for August, I chose the Maeve skirt, which is by True Bias. And I was actually very, very happy to get this. So with the Sew Luxurious kits, every month you get a choice of one woven pattern and one knit pattern, and then once you've chosen that, you then get a choice of all their luxurious knit fabrics for the knit pattern, or all of their luxurious woven fabric for the woven pattern. And I chose the Maeve skirt. And by the way, I do a separate unboxing vlog and reveal of the garment for Little Miss So-and-so. It should be on my channel for those of you that want to see that. So the Maeve skirt, it was a pattern I wanted to get anyway, so I was very happy that this is one of the options. And it's basically a skirt in woven, and you get like an elasticated waistband with waist ties that are functional, and then you've got different tiers. You've got the maxi, midi, and the mini. Is it called a mini? And then you get all these different tiers, and I'll show you the instructions. It's actually quite handy. So with the instructions, this is actually quite good. It's like a cut chart, and it gives you all the different variations of skirt, sort of all the different combinations of all these different tiers, and it tells you exactly what piece to cut and everything, which I think is very, very handy. And I chose an Atelier Brunette fabric, not viscose crepe, Atelier Brunette, is it viscose crepe? Atelier Brunette crepe, viscose crepe, yeah. And that is so luxurious. I think it's £22 a meter. And here is my version here. So you've got the wide 2-inch waistband, you've got functional drawstrings, and then I chose the maxi version, which is 1 tier, 2 tier, and then 3 tier. Again, I've chosen, because it's a drapey fabric, I've chosen to hem it with the overlocker 3-thread overlocker. I think that's what it's called, instead of hemming it. And I really, really like it. I love how the waistband is really nice and chunky. Like, that's not going to fold down. It's just really nice. It just hugs you perfectly at the right sort of spot. It has pockets. It has pockets as well, and this fabric is gorgeous. Atelier Brunette Viscose. I think it's their June colorway. No, it's the June print, and the colorway is chestnut. So that's that. And I styled it with the same Tabitha t-shirt dress. That's why I said it flows nicely. And with the So Luxurious kit, they give you enough fabric to make the biggest size. And it's usually about 3.5 meters. So I got 3.5 meters of this beautiful fabric, and I only used, I believe, 2.5 meters of this. So I had a whole meter left. And what I decided to do, let me post a photo first of this outfit. And because I had some fabric left over, I decided to make a camisole. And I made, you've guessed it, the Sicily slip dress, and I just cut it sort of about a couple of inches below the waistline, and I made a lovely camisole in this lovely fabric. So I had enough, bearing in mind this had to be cut on the bias as well, I had enough of that fabric left over, and I'll show you a picture of me wearing it. So I thought it was quite nice that you could wear it sort of as a t-shirt and a skirt, or with the camisole you can wear it, it almost looks like a dress with a t-shirt underneath. And that's that one. Instruction wise, very easy to make. It's got lovely pockets. Does it tell you to understitch the pockets? Oh, I could check in my book what it says. Sorry, bear with me. Where's my book gone? Did I drop it? Ah, I'm all over the place, guys. Where's my little book gone? Oh, there it is. Sorry. So let me just check my notes for my Maeve skirt. So I did the size 10, which is a 3-tier maxi. No notes, which means the pattern was, you know, I followed the instructions to the T. There was no adjustments made. And that was that. So I'm very, very happy with that pattern. The next thing I made was let me show you this one. I made the Sew Over It Eve dress, which is a wrap dress with a high-low hem here. It's got a front yoke with gathers, and you can either choose to have like a fluted, I keep forgetting what this sleeve is called. It's like a fluted butterfly sleeve maybe, or you can have sort of the longer sleeves here, and then you can have a short, just a cut off normal skirt, or the high-low hem. I decided to go for this version here, and I made according, so this goes from a size 6, which is a bust of 31 inches, waist of 24 inches, all the way up to a size 20, which is a bust of 45 inches to a waist of 38 inches. I went for a size 12. And this was my blogger project for Jenny Stitches fabric. And I chose, let me just show you this I chose this Fabric Godmother viscose crepe in their pinky color, pink design, floral design. Basically I can't show you the Sew Over It Eve dress as yet, because I wait for Jenny to put it up on her blog first, and that I believe is coming out on the 11th of September. Once that has happened, I can then show it on my Instagram, show the photographs on my Instagram, and then that dress hopefully I will show for next month's roundup of makes. But I had some leftover fabric and I decided to make a Sagebrush top. Sagebrush top, what can I say? Sagebrush top, I have the pattern here. It is the Friday Pattern Company Sagebrush top. And the line drawings are there. So basically it's a very loose, flowy blouse. A ruffle here, front yoke and back yoke with a tie at the back and puffy sleeves. This goes from an extra small to a 7X. And the measurements are extra small, 32-inch bust. Waist doesn't really matter because it's just so straight, but waist of 24 inches all the way to a 7X, which is a 59 bust and a 52-inch waist. This is it has a lot of ease, so I actually went down quite a lot in size. I have made this pattern before. Do I have a photo of me wearing that? I don't think I have a photo of me wearing that, but I will try and get a photo and I'll post it up here for you. And my comments for the Sagebrush top. Let me see. Oh, I know what it is already, but let me just double check that I've got it right. So for my Sagebrush top, yes. So the only thing that I do different for my Sagebrush top is that instead of using, I'll show you, does it show it here? So for the neckline, they ask you to make bias binding to finish off the neck, and then that in turn becomes the tie at the back. I didn't like that finish with my very first one. So what I've decided to do, and quite a lot of other people on Instagram are doing this also, is doing a facing for the front yoke and the back yoke, just so that you've got like a much neater finish here. I basically just copied, when I cut out the front facing and the back facing, I made 2 sets, one for the lining and one for the main fabric, or the front of the garment, and then I just made sure to start ties and sandwiched it in between, and I just like that neater finish there. And so that's the only thing that I did that was different. Instruction wise, very easy to make. I have this little sewing project book, so I log in all the things that I do differently or any problems that I have, and there appears to be nothing apart from the fact that I do the facings. Are they called facings? Linings instead of the bias bind finish at the neckline. So that's that one. And then last but not least, I made some more Tabitha t-shirt dresses. For those of you that follow me, you know that I love the Tabitha t-shirt dress. So I've made 8 all in all now. And the last 4, let me show you the pattern. It is again the Tabitha t-shirt dress. So the Tabitha t-shirt, it's this one here. Again, Tilly and the buttons make it simple. And this is the Tabitha drawstring dress, sorry, they call it. And this is a lovely Lady McElroy fabric, actually, jersey, and I think that would be quite nice for like autumn, winter. And I am planning, I did go through an obsessive phase of making loads and loads of Tabitha t-shirt drawstring dresses. Like I said, I've made 8, but for the winter I think I might make some long sleeve versions, and I actually really like that print and that length. So with a Tabitha t-shirt dress, it's basically the t-shirt lengthened, and then it gives you instructions on how to draft your own skirt piece. So basically it's the dress, lengthen the bodice, and then you add a skirt piece, make a channel from the seam allowance and add a drawstring. And here it just tells you exactly how to draft your own pattern piece, which sounds, I know when people say, oh, draft your own piece, it might sound quite daunting. But again, with Tilly and the Button, she is very good at holding your hand and giving you really good instructions. So that was very easily done. And as I say, I've made 8 now, which is just amazing because I love them. I wear them all the time. Actually, these dresses, so 2 of them were in the wash. I had to take them out because I've worn them, and one, I can't find the other one. It must be in the wash or in the ironing pile or something, but I can't find it. I will post up a photo though of all of my Tilly and the Buttons drawstring dresses that I made this month or last month, August. Let me just see the the notes that I made for the Tabitha t-shirt dress. Oh, okay. So with a Tabitha t-shirt dress, you can, you've got the option of making holes using eyelets in the seam allowance that becomes the channel for the drawstring, or you can use buttonholes. For those of you that have watched my previous vlogs, my first 4 I used what are these called, the eyelets. Unfortunately, with 2 of them, the eyelets have come loose, and I've had to go back and hand sew around the eyelet hole just to keep that secure. Luckily with jersey, it doesn't really fray so much, so it's not too bad. And also when you do tie it at the waist, I can't show you, when you do tie it at the waist, the holes are kind of covered because you've got a waist tie there. So now what I've decided to do is use buttonholes, which work out really well because those buttonholes aren't coming undone because it's a buttonhole. So I've used these and they've worked out perfectly. So the first dress I made in no particular order is this one here. This is a lovely sort of watercolor stripe in different shades of blue from Jenny Stitches fabrics, and I had this blue in my stash. Sorry, I've oh, and I used a little label saying sewing is my superpower. And I've used some blue what is this called, cord, drawstring cord from Minerva Crafts. I'll pop up a photo. The next one I made is this one. This is, what is this called? Arts Gallery fabric jersey from Little Miss So-and-so in their lovely sort of blue colorway, and these lovely florals. These colors are so lovely. It's like a corally pink, and it's just a pop of color, and I really love it. I went for some contrasting red ribbing and red drawstring. Again, it's got a label there saying sewing is my superpower. The only thing is, I know Art Gallery fabric is expensive. I think this is £22 a meter, but where I've washed it, it looks kind of, I don't know if you can see that. It looks kind of bubbly, like, yeah, you can see that there, like furry bubbly. And also the color has kind of faded a bit, which I'm a bit, I mean, it looks actually quite bright on the camera, but in real life it is a bit faded. So I am wondering whether anybody here uses color detergent for their colors, because I've not tried it, but my mother-in-law keeps telling me use color detergent. And if you do use color detergent, why? Maybe because it works. And what brand do you use? Because I might do color detergent now, because I am making some lovely garments, if I say so myself. And I'm using some, you know, really expensive fabric, and I really want these to last. And I want the colors to be vibrant. I use, what do I use? I use Fairy Non-Bio, the liquid. And then I use Comfort, the red Comfort fabric conditioner, because I love the smell of it. So that's what I use, and I think the colour has kind of, it's not as nice as it used to be. Anyhow, photo of me wearing it. And then the next one I made is this one. and this is in a lovely rainbow stripe. From Lamazi Fabrics. I use red drawstring and red ribbing for the neckband. Again, sewing is my superpower. I quite like using the longer labels for this, just to cover some of this overlocking stitch. Sorry, my eye. I know if you look at ready to wear t-shirts, this overlocked part here is covered with a strip of jersey fabric, which I have done once before, but it's just an extra sort of 5-10 minutes of work, which you can't see it anyway when you're wearing it. So if you have the time, or if you're making maybe a gift, it's quite nice to just add that sort of piece of jersey here to cover that stitching up. As it is, because it's red on red, it's not too bad. So this fabric, as I say, is cotton jersey from Lamazi Fabric, but I first saw this on Adele's unboxing and other people's unboxing for the Think Pink subscription box by Andrea from Beyond the Pink Door. And I just wanted it so badly that I went out and got that fabric. And just to say, by the way, I have now subscribed to Andrea's subscription box, Think Pink. And I have just had a recent unboxing vlog. It's all on my channel, so please do have a root around to see if there's anything else that you want to watch on there. So that's that one. And then the last, I'll pop up a picture. And then the last garment I made is the same dress as well, but in a navy and white stripe from Guthrie and Garney with a navy ribbing and navy cord. I don't have that dress to hand. Like I say, it must be somewhere. I don't know. I'll pop up a picture of that. And that's it. That's all I've done. I believe that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 garments all in. So there you go. I have been very busy. September is going to be a lot slower because we're back to school. It is the 7th of September today, and as it stands, I'm shattered with all the children going back to school. As I say, I home educate. My older children have online courses, so they really don't have that much what's it called? They don't really need me as much, but the younger children obviously are sort of one-on-one. So that's been quite stressful. Not stressful. I guess after a long summer's break, you have to, as in with everything, students and teachers alike, they need to get back into the role of things. But that's fine. You know, thank God everything's going smoothly so far. And that's it really. So thank you so much for watching. For those of you that are returning, thank you so much. For those of you that are new here, please kindly think about liking and subscribing. You know, all of this is done for your viewing pleasure, and I love it when everybody comments, and I like to, you know, reply to all the comments as soon as I can. I do have quite a few vlogs on. I have Ruwan from the Yorkshire Sew Girl, who is a fabulous vlogger and sewist. So her interview has just been released tonight, so that's on my channel as well. I have also done the Sew Hayley Jane luxury box unboxing, so that's on there as well, on top of the Think Pink subscription box unboxing as well. Oh, that's a bit of a mouthful. So that's all on there as well. And thank you very much for watching. The next vlog that's coming out will be my September plans, and that's a bumper as well, so hopefully I can get everything done. And in the meantime, thank you so much for watching, and I would like hopefully see you again next time. Thank you. Bye bye.